Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, the defenders demanding answers after protesters make an explosive claim against Detroit police and officer-involved shootings.
Governor Whitmer hints at when she might make a decision on schools and says many parents are not going to like it. But we begin with the 15-year-old suspect in the fatal shooting of a 10-year-old going to be charged as an adult.
A decision coming from Macomb County prosecutors today. Victor Williams is in Warren with more. Victor.
Yeah, those charges were just officially handed down right here at the 37th District Court earlier today. But this is really a tragic story all around. Not only do we have that 10-year-old who is dead, but we also have another child that's accused of killing him, except that child is going to have to face the consequences being tried as an adult. Christopher Deshaun Simmons finally sent before a judge accused of allegedly pulling the trigger, firing the fatal shot that killed 10-year-old Orrin Baugh. We're not showing his face because of his age.
The court, Mr. Simmons, is going to enter a plea of not guilty. Court does recognize that you are how old? 15.
Although the defendant is only 15 years of age, Macomb County prosecutors are trying him as an adult, charging him with second-degree murder and several other charges in connection.
Asking one count second-degree murder, charges an adult, second count of felony firearm, a third count of CCW arm.
Based on testimony, the officer court just finds sufficient evidence to support those charges. I will sign that warrant.
Simmons is also facing a previous weapons charge. Although it's unclear if the shooting was accidental or intentional, it appears prosecutors believe this crime may have been done with malicious intent.
Investigation determined that several juveniles were in the apartment unsupervised. Further investigation determined that suspect Chris Simmons, black male, 15 years of age, brought a gun to the home and had it pointed at the victim from approximately 10 feet away. Another juvenile stated that the suspect cocked the gun and it went off, striking victim in the chest. The suspect then fled the scene, leaving his cousin dying on the floor.
As far as bond,
$500,000 cash surety only with a GPS tether before release.
now we're told that Simmons was previously on probation when all of this happened for taking a gun to school. The judge has ordered that he stay at the juvenile corrections facility as of right now, but he is due back in court on August 11th. Reporting live tonight, Victor Williams, Local 4. Back to you.
Okay, Victor. A notable uptick in today's coronavirus numbers. Today, the state reports 669 new cases of COVID-19. That's 181 more than yesterday. And along with that, 16 new deaths in just the past 24 hours. But it's important to note 11 of those deaths came from a review of vital records. And as we've closely tracked the human toll this pandemic is taking on our state, Governor Whitmer is pleading for all Michiganders to stay the course and mask up.
Yep, Rod Maloney was in Lansing today for the governor's coronavirus update, first one we've had in a while. And Rod, she hinted at a timeline for a decision about schools.
Yeah, let's hang on for that, Devin. Parents want to know this. This is the phase program that the governor has, 3, 4, 5, Metro Detroit in phase 4. And with schools, she looks at it to be a hybrid situation, some in class, some at home. Now, what she's concerned about is stepping back to phase 3, which means classes would be out of school and online. If we move up to phase 5, we could be back in class. But the governor says in order to make any of those changes, basically this is the final arbiter.
We all have to remain nimble, and it's hard. I don't like saying that.
The governor not wanting to weigh in just yet on what schools opening is going to look like around Labor Day, mainly because there are no easy answers. There is one thing for certain, though.
If we look like Florida, it would be inadvisable for us to resume school, much less continue all of the different pieces of our economy that we've re-engaged. We're trying to avoid that.
So she continues to reiterate it's all about the mask wearing and the rest of the slowing COVID spread protocols we know about. Today, the administration said that the numbers are looking better than they have in a recent past.
I mean, in a couple weeks from now, we'll know what actions today yield in terms of COVID cases. A couple weeks after that, we'll see what it means in terms of hospitalizations. That's the lagging indicators of this particular type of virus.
The problem, of course, is on-edge concerned parents. We've seen the Detroit court actions to try and shutter summer school, which is likely to spill into the fall. The governor admits with 800 school districts across the state, there is no normal, new or otherwise. She can only guess when she will have a final answer It's likely to come in several weeks.
You're going to know before we get to that first day, but it's going to be a lot closer to it than anyone's going to be happy with, and that's just the nature of this disease.
So here's the other thing the governor says we do know for certain. Michigan's facing a $2 or $3 billion budget shortfall, and so she called on Congress, particularly the president and also Senate Republicans, to come up with more money for states like Michigan so that their schools have a future in terms of funding. Reporting live in Lansing, Rod Malona, Local 4.
All right, Rod, we now need to get to breaking news from Ecorse, where sources say one-year-old twins have been severely beaten, and one of them has died. The other is in the hospital.
Yeah, right now, there's a lot we don't know about what happened, but we do know there is an active investigation.
Let's head to Jason Colthorpe, who is live in Ecorse with more. Jason, this sounds absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, Devin, we have learned a lot within the last hour, and here's the situation. We have 13-month-old twin boys who have suffered abuse, allegedly, according to family members, at the hands of their mother's boyfriend. Zaire Reed died today at Children's Hospital from his injuries. His brother Zion Reed has undergone surgery for some serious injuries that you're going to hear more about in just a moment. The family has told us the mother is now in jail and police are looking for her boyfriend.
They were 13 months old to the day.
Sue Williams-Baywall had suspected her twin grandsons were being abused. These photos of Zion and Zaire were earlier this month. Both boys have signs of possible trauma on their faces.
Lisa was sleeping. He was carrying both babies, and supposedly tripped over something and fell, and both babies laid on her face.
That's what he said happened.
That's what he said would happen. And then this morning, he supposedly said that he gave the baby Zaire a bottle, and he left the room, went back in, he was choking.
But then Baywall, who is already a legal guardian for one of her daughter's children, learned of new injuries that left Zaire dead and Zion in surgery, their mother in jail, and her boyfriend on the run.
He's got a broken nose, he's got a broken femur. They're operating on his femur right now. He might have blood in his brain. And he's got broken ribs and liver damage. That's what they just told me. I just learned about that when they were just here.
Now, I can tell you Child Protective Services has been out today at the boy's grandmother's house. That's who you just heard from in that story. Because the grandmother tells me that she may be in danger of losing that other child she's caring for, her grandchild, who's 10 years old. But this is not the first time Child Protective Services has been called. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from a neighbor who says she noticed those injuries in those photos in a Facebook post and notified Wayne County CPS on July 16th. And nothing was done, at least according to her. We'll hear more about that coming up at 6. For now, we're live in Ecorse. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Just heartbreaking. All right, Jason, we will see you again at 6 o'clock. The news at this hour. Activist group Detroit Will Breathe is calling for Chief Craig to resign tonight in the wake of a number of officer-related shootings over the past few weeks.
The leader of the group, Tristan Taylor, says he thinks none of the shootings were justified, including the incident where one man shot at an officer at point-blank range. Defender Sean Lay talked with Taylor today. And Sean, how does this narrative match what we've seen on the tapes?
Kimberly, let's get right to it. The statement made today by the protest group does not match up with the video put out by Detroit police. Watch. We're going to play their explosive statement for you right now.
In 2 of the cases, the victims shot by the police were on the ground when they were shot. In the last case, police have released no details.
The protest group Detroit Will Breathe making that explosive statement today.
You would agree police have a responsibility to get the facts out? Doesn't your movement have the responsibility to be as accurate as possible with the facts?
Absolutely.
2 deadly officer-involved shootings. Hakeem Littleton shot and killed July 10th. Last week, police say a suspect wanted for shooting 4 people, pointed a gun at them. Video showing both men were not on the ground when police first shot.
It says in 2 of the cases, the victims shot by police were on the ground when they were shot. Isn't that irresponsible to say that?
I don't think so.
The shorter question would be, you're telling the community police are out here executing these guys.
Well, I don't know what else you call at point blank. I mean, especially for Hakeem Littleton. That's the thing that we find most disturbing about his shooting was the fact that the last shot was point blank to the head.
Detroit Police Chief James Craig saying the department gets video out of the shootings as fast as possible so the public can see what happened for themselves.
It's always the vocal minority that will critique, criticize, and find fault.
I just reread your statement. It's not accurate.
Lead protester Tristan Taylor says he wants to see more video.
To your point, I do apologize if the statement isn't clear.
This is not rocket science. There's something wrong when every time there is an issue, it ends in violence. I think that's what Tristan, the message he's trying to say.
Back here live, the group out protesting right now at the 9th Precinct. The chief made it clear yesterday. He says his officers are on high alert, partly because of anti-police rhetoric here and around the country. Plus, they're taking hundreds of guns off the streets right now. Kimberly.
So, Sean, the group also mentioned police released no details on the latest officer-involved shooting. What do you know about that?
Well, the chief briefed the media and the public on that very shooting. Yesterday, it happened on Sunday night. He says a man had a gun, officers pursued, he ran. He says his officers feared that they were in danger, so they shot him 5 to 6 times. He survived. He's currently reviewing the tape. Hopefully, we will see it soon.
Yeah. All right. Keep us posted, Sean. We appreciate it.
A busy day, and we're just getting started. Much more to come here at 5. Here's Ben.
All the warmth today, guys, and very little of yesterday's humidity. A big difference. Now, can we keep it going to the end of the week? We'll look at that and rain chances going into the weekend coming up.
Also, they lost their mother and father to COVID-19, and tonight, how they're handling their heartbreaking losses. How it's not stopping the kids from trying to realize the American dream. But first, the effort to find a coronavirus vaccine coming to Michigan. You'll see who's looking for volunteers and why researchers are so encouraged.